Nothing to it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Nothing to It. I'm your host, the Tulip Guy, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you how to remove these fabrics from these car seats, including your child's booster seat. A few quick side notes about these child car seats that I'm going to demonstrate for you is that this just happens to be a collection of car seats I've had during my time in fatherhood. These have a variety of buckles, buttons, clips, and I hope that during this video you see something similar to your car seat as well. I currently have a Graco Nautilus 65, a type of Evenflo here, a Graco Extend, and an Evenflo Platinum series, including an Evenflo booster seat. I will demonstrate these and show you up close pictures and video of each clip and button, buckle, whatever happens to be on these things, and hopefully this helps you in your time. With that being said, these companies are constantly changing the way their models look, including other companies, and how they approach child safety and how these fabrics get attached to the car seats. I hope this reaches out to enough of you in a way that it relieves some frustration in order to just simply get it apart, to clean it, for the simple fact that you want your child sitting in something a little less messy than what they tend to do to them. The Nautilus 65 by Graco. One of the first things I like to start with is the headrest, but in some cases you're going to need a hook of some sort, maybe a coat hanger bent into a fine hook shape so you can get this thing through some of the little holes that you're a little tricky to get your fingers into when detaching and reattaching hooks or clamps or straps or whatever this thing might be connected to on the back. So when approaching the headrest, you'll notice if you come to the top, there's a strap that goes through a little hole. It comes to the back side, and it's looped around this little clip here. So what you're going to want to do is unhook the strap and let it go back through the hole. And the thing I was showing you earlier with the hook, that later on, when this piece comes through, you're going to want to be able to put the hook through the back side, hooking onto these elastics to pull it back through to the other side. Once you pull it through, when you later have to reattach it, this will make things a little bit easier rather than trying to get your fingers all squeezed in there. For now, we're going to leave it unclipped. Do the same for the other side, and then start following it around to find out where there might be more attachments. You can already see there's another one here. Most likely there's another one on the other side. Follow your fabric around until you find more hooks or clips, and you come across something. You should be able to just unhook or slide things off sometimes. You'll be able to come in close, following it all the way around. You'll see that there's another strap here and another strap there. That will feed through to the back side, much like the holes we saw up here, except they'll be a little further down on the backrest. If you come around, you'll be able to see they come around right there. So again, this might be one of those spots where you use your hook, go in, unhook it, release. Same idea over here. Should be able to free the fabric, allowing you to wash that when you're ready. What you'll want to do though is make sure you locate where those holes are so that you can feed those elastics back in. In some cases you'll notice that it may not actually be a hole after all. It just feeds back up through to the back side. And in my case, I've accidentally unhooked this strap from a piece that says do not remove. So what you can do is, if you look down, a little difficult to see, but if you look down through there, you'll be able to put the hook down through the backrest. And on the other side, you'll see that the hook comes through. Now you should be able to grab a hold, slide it back through the backside. Once you get it through the back, and line it up and hook it back on, keeping it in place. Essentially, when you reattach these hooks, these straps, from what you removed it from, you'll have to do the same thing that I just did, hooking it from the back side, attaching it from the bottom first, putting your headrest piece back on over the cover, and hooking your straps back over. If you really have to, take pictures, especially if you have multiple car seats, because you may want to just be able to reference where these straps unhooked from. The last thing you want to do is get frustrated trying to figure out which strap went to where. Next thing I like to do is, continuing from the backrest, try working down, finding the next easiest spot. In this case, it's a little Velcro piece. You can just remove that, and it frees a good portion of the fabric all the way down until you get to another strap. This strap here, you can see, feeds in through these little crevices here. So you can follow that all the way through and find out where that strap goes. And it literally goes in through here, hooks up and around to there. And it hooks onto these little tiny clips. They basically look like little bra clips. Just unattaches, comes through the little crevice, releasing it from the backing. As you can see now that it's apart, this is where you will feed that strap back on later and hook to this piece. Quick little demonstration there. When you're putting it back on, you slide it through the gap, coming around, hooking it on in place there. But since we're trying to remove it, we're just going to detach it. Continuing forward, again, just keep following the perimeter of your fabrics until you find where something is hooked up or stuck. Getting in here, you'll see another strap goes through the back side. So come to the back and see where it might be attached. In this case, it looks like this one right here. This is another little slot that you'll have to feed these things through. So once you let it go, sometimes it'll just spring right back through. And it should be released. You'll see that it's loose. Again, this is where these hooks come in handy, because when you need to reattach it again, just slide the hook into that gap, and you'll find that it's right there coming through. You can hook it on allowing you to be able to pull it back through when you need to reattach it. You can stretch it up or grab it by your own fingers, hook it back on if you need to. Once you've done the same for the opposite side, you continue to follow along. You'll notice that it's basically a mirror image all the way back up to another spot where there's more Velcro. Just peel it off and pull it back, but you'll notice it's hooked up here. All this is simply is a little hard piece of plastic tucked into a little slot. You just pull it out, and you can see underneath that that white plastic bar fit in along here in between this gap. When you're putting it back together later, you'll bend that plastic piece to fit back in. By pulling it out, you can stuff it down through the seat, coming around to the other side, allowing you to pull it free. You have to keep in mind when you go to put it back together, you have to push it underneath and behind here in order to get it back through this gap to wrap around and put along this little slot here. Typically the thing I do, which is easiest, I'll take a piece of the edge where the Velcro is, I'll slide it up and under, and when you come around to the other side, you should be able to see it sticking out. That will allow you to help feed it back up through, allowing you to start the process to reattach it all back together. Wrapping your Velcro piece back around, starting it there, following down to where you found your straps, hooking it all back on in place. We've got our headrest removed. The fabric against the back side is removed, so we can actually pull that out now. It is now free. You can put it with the rest of the stuff that you've already got collected. But there's still another piece left on this Nautilus, so we're going to dive into that now. Again, you can see as the seat goes, there's another little slot where the fabric seems to disappear. This most likely goes all the way through to the back side, so that's where I would try to start, to try and release that, to come through this side, and then start following around the perimeter of your fabric, trying to find other hooks and notches and clasps as you go. So coming to this side again, you can see where the fabric is kind of sticking out a little bit. And of course, here is another strap attached to another little plastic hook. Same concept, just unhook it, and then it can be pushed through now. Also, same idea, this hook can go through when you want to reattach it. Grab a hold of those straps and pull it back through in order to stretch it through and hook it back on when you need to these plastic clips. Coming back around to the front, you can now pull this through. Climbing along, you can see another strap on this side, another strap on that side. So if we follow that, it comes to another one of those little metal hook clips. You detach that, start following it along. That pops loose there. Do the same for the other side. And now we have this part is completely loose. But you notice if you follow the perimeter of the fabric again, it comes under the cup holders all the way around to yet another hook with another strap goes underneath the car seat. You just unhook that. and follow it around to the front. There's another one here. These ones where it gets kind of tricky. I'll tip it upside down in a second so you can see, but you can see the strap is hooked yet again under another little hook. As you can see, I'm taking the seat, tipped it on its back. We can find where that hook is going to that other strap. You see it's another little awkward spot for another little plastic clip. Unhook that here. On the other side, same idea. Typically, it's the same thing over and over again. One side mirrors the other. Once you get that detached, you can see there's no more hooks holding it in. Tip it back up, and all that's left is this little plastic piece here. The fabric literally just stretches in underneath the plastic lip. You can kind of pull on one side, unwedge it. You can feed your seatbelt down through it. And this frees the bottom of your seat cover. Add it to the pile of laundry, and now this is where the fun begins. You now have an empty car seat ready to be cleaned depending on what your child has done with it. Just food, could be vomit, could be any number of things, body fluids. Just do what you can with it. I usually use wet wipes and a lot of soap and water. The hardest part is getting into all these little grooves and crevices. Like, they are everywhere. I don't know why they design them like this, but stuff gets into these little spots all over this thing. Just little cracks, grooves. No matter where you look, there's a spot to put something. Making cleaning a brutal process, but half the battle is getting the fabric off and getting it into the laundry. If you find yourself in a predicament where you need to wash these seat belts because your child has gotten something sticky or threw up or whatever the case might be, I recommend trying to leave the belts in place if you can. I know there are ways that I can show you in other videos maybe down the road on how to get these, like these buckles out, to take the whole system off. But honestly, what I recommend doing is, if you need to, just get some water, bucket of water and mild soap. Just extend your seatbelt as much as you can, like this. And just try to just wipe it clean, soak it in the little bucket in the seat if you have to. Straps like this, these little plastic clips can break easily. If you're very careful, you can probably wiggle it out, find a way from the backside to pinch it through the hole and pop it out and then put it back in after. I don't recommend it. What I would recommend is just, again, with the soapy water, just extend it all the way to one side. Wash that length of seatbelt if you have to. Same with the other side. Pull it back through if you have to. Wash this side. And with seatbelts like this, I don't recommend trying to push them through. They would be super hard to put back together to try and feed back through where that safety clip is here that keeps the seatbelt tight on your child. But I do recommend just pull it out as far as you can. Same idea, soapy water, wash the whole length. And when the laundry's done, cleaning all this stuff in the washer, just put it all back together in reverse. With that being said, let's put this thing back together in reverse order using some of the methods and techniques that I showed you in detaching it and putting it back together. The Extend Fit by Graco. Again, we're going to start with what seems like the easiest piece. I typically, again, think it's the headrest. So what I do is I try to figure out how much of this stuff is actually attached. And you'll notice that this piece here already seems pretty loose. It literally just pops out from behind this first piece here. You can flip it through between the seat belts here, and you've already got almost half of your headrest piece already detached. Of course, once again, you come in, start feeling around where some of the straps might be. As you can see, you probably have to go around to the back side already. You'll see that there's one tucked in right there. Just unhook it. Most likely the opposite side, the same, right in there. Coming around, you'll see that there's two at the very top. We'll unhook those if we can. We may need our little trusty hook thing again. I find this just helps with getting grip on things. Well, looks like there's two pieces in here. I have to figure out what both those do. The one that's on top first. You may end up having to just, looks like it's a little twisted in there. You may have to just unhook them both at the same time. Being careful not to let them just snap through. Try to do it in an easy way so that you can kind of follow it back through to find out exactly what those are going to. As you come around to the other side, you'll be able to slowly peel it off over top. Follow it around, slowly peeling everything loose. A lot of creaking and squeaking. It's just the fabric binding on the styrofoam. It's okay. You're not actually breaking your seat. And here's where you're going to want to reveal it slowly, because you want to see where those straps came through. You can see in there the strap came loose. You can see it came in through that little hole there, coming back there. So now you know where the holes come through and loop back up to the plastic clip when you put the headrest back on. As you can see, on the back of this thing, there's only one strap on each side, and we actually had two straps. What I noticed, that this little pouch that says do not remove actually fell from here. This plastic piece actually hooks underneath here, folds up over, and those these straps can actually go back through. You can see here where the strap is, where my finger is right there. I can pull that through with the hook and reattach it. Once you have these pieces hooked back on and your padding is properly installed on the front side again, you can set yourself up to just pull those straps through on your headrest piece and hook them on the front for easier removal next time. Keep them untwisted so that it's easier for all cases. Next, start working somewhere along the base. You don't necessarily have to start from the top down like we did in the Nautilus. If you just feel around the edges for basically the loosest thing, once you find that, you can kind of start there, start unhooking things, start following around looking for straps. And as you can see, there's one right here. So you're going to want to make sure you see where those go through. You can see a little hole. Sometimes it's nice just to come through to the other side and see where that actually is, so that it's not confusing later. In this case, you'll notice trying to get underneath, we can't access the hole where it is. So you may have to actually take your headrest, slide it all the way down, and there's the hole right there. It comes around to this clip right here, so you can unhook it. And that strap will come through that hole, freeing this top part of the fabric for you. Once you've unhooked that strap, you can then peel that part of the fabric off, freeing it from the top of the baby seat. Coming back to where your loose part was again, you keep coming around until you find another spot. Just keep loosening things as you go. You can feel it starting to tighten up here. So I've got a strap that's going under here. So as I've showed you, there's the strap there. Comes through this little slot down the side, and it hooks right in here. It's another one of those spots where you might need that hook to reach in. Grab a hold of it. Pull it off. That lets you peel the fabric up. And you can see that, like the other car seat, this fabric kind of tucks under a little lip under the cup holder. This will literally just stretch out and over the cup holder. As you move around the perimeter of the car seat. Again, on the other side, see that same style strap. Unhook here. Do the same thing, releasing the cup holder, and then we'll come around to the front. So that tricky part that we were just dealing with there, now you have a chance to really peel it back and see where it attaches. So you can see as you pull it all the way back, this here's that hook that we peeled from under here. And as you look, it's fed through this little gap leading back to that strap. So when you reattach it later, this is going to come all the way back through here and hook on to that little strap hook there. Now that you've got that out, you can pull the seat belt through the hole, freeing most of the seat. From here, you should be able to peel this forward around this little opening. You'll see that the fabric just peels out. The only thing we have left to do is free it from these harness. In order to get this fabric freed from the harness, you'll have to get a hold of this headpiece, bend it all the way back up. This allows you to get access to the piece that's causing it to hang up on the seat cover from releasing. So you can follow it all the way up. There's a little slot that goes through right in behind here. See the gap? If you spin it around, you can follow this gap all the way down to this little hook system. You'll unhook it from this, and then this little part of the seat belt on both sides, you can come up, push it through this slot, coming back around, pulling it loose, allowing you to slide the seat cover out of the seat belt. After you've unhooked it, you simply just lay it down, and these pieces here are now free to be fed through the little seat belt slot there. You come around the other side, you'll see that you can take it and simply pop it through. Do the same with the other side. And this will allow these seat belt pieces to just slide through this hole in the fabric, allowing you to release it completely from your seat belt. Alright, with both my hands free now, should be able to take these plastic parts from the harness and just pop them through the hole like I was trying to do a minute ago. Push the biggest part through. That's all that's left of the tail of that seat belt. Push that one through. Push that part through. Now you see the two tails left. This little seat belt piece will just push through as well. Just in case you need to remember which slot it was in for when you return it back. Now you can slide the cover off. And now you've removed all the coverings from this Extend to Fit car seat. Now you can do all the cleaning that you need to do, including the fabrics. Once again, the reverse process. I'm going to start with the seatbelt pieces. While you're doing this, try to be careful to keep your seat belts from twisting. You want to keep them as straight and flat as possible. If you have to, when you're getting your seat belt, you may have to push it through or hook it and get it back to the other side. Once you get it partially through, you can probably grip it with the hook and pull it through. Once you've got them back through, you can then hook it up to this metal clip that we detached it from earlier. Now you can slowly mold the seat back to the form it came from. Tucking the pieces underneath the cup holder like it was earlier. May have to give it a little tiny push with the hook sometimes, just to hook it back in to the best fit possible. Seat belts back in place. Push your headrest back down. slide these fabrics back in where they came from. Sometimes you're going to lose that strap back through the hole, and you just have to simply start all over again, pushing it back through. Just like I did here. Hopefully the second time works. There you go. This flap, you can then tuck back between the seat belt pieces again. Fold it behind, just like it started. This is where those two little straps were that we started off with. Put through that little hole at the back here. On each side. Hopefully we can hook it. That's one of the most difficult straps to get through because the hook doesn't exactly fit through this hole. So you have to use your fingers from the back side, or sorry, the front side, push it into place enough that you can just barely get the hook in. Pull it through, hook it back onto that plastic clip. You're all set up again. Evenflo Platinum Series. Before I dive into the fabric parts of this car seat, I want to go over the cup holders here. These cup holders actually have a lot of fabric tucked in up all around it. It's very difficult to get the fabric off with this. What happens is that this plastic is actually screwed on underneath the fabric here. As you can see with this one, it's been forced in the past. It's got a big crack in it. It wasn't removed properly. To prevent cracking it, what you'll do is tip it on its side. And that fabric part I was just showing you, right by the cup holder. If you look underneath, there's a screw. If you unscrew that, it will release this from the fabric up top. Just stick a screwdriver up underneath, line it up, twist it out. Try not to lose the screw if you can. This plastic piece just slides right off, no problem. Do the same for the other side, freeing all this fabric for an easy removal once you start the rest of the seat. For future reference, when you're putting the screw back in, because it is going to be kind of a blind spot to see underneath to that hole, once you get it through the hole, that hole will screw into this little hole when you line it back up. So just try to aim the screw through the fabric underneath to the best alignment to where this is going to be to reattach it later. To prevent losing the screws, just twist them back into that hole, a couple of threads, just so that you don't lose it. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble with this being loose all the time. You don't want that. You want your kid to be able to just put their cup into it, not be sloppy and floppy. Just make it nice and easy so that they can't be pulling this stuff apart. First thing I want to show you with this one is in order to get access to some of the headrest pieces here, I like to take this foam piece here and pull it out from behind, giving me a little bit more room to play with my hands back there. You just peel that down through the seatbelt a bit so that you have that open access in case you need to get there. When I spin around to this side, you'll see deep down in here, there's actually a fabric clip. You can unhook that. Get your hands in there. Alright, once you unhook that, you can slide that off. That's where that plastic hook is for this fabric hole here. Kind of like a button in your shirt. Once you get that released, you should be able to come down to the side. You see this strap up here. Comes all the way down and hooks down there to a little piece of plastic there. That plastic can be accessed under here. It's hard to see. But see this piece here? This literally unclips, goes back behind. Come around and unhook that. Later on, when you want to put it back together, you can simply stretch it, fold it along behind. You can see that this comes back through and lift it up. Put your clip back on when you need to reattach it. Now, pull it off, you either stuff it behind or slide it back out to the side. Do that again for the opposite side. Once you've unhooked all those pieces, you should be able to slide the headrest fabric forward off of the styrofoam. And you'll notice when you get to here, it's kind of this like bullhorn shape. You can actually get your fingers in there and slide it back, unhook it off the edge, releasing the bottom of your headrest fabric. The same for the other side, except now that it's unhooked from the opposite side, it's a little bit looser, a little bit easier. Slide it out, and the headrest just falls out. Now that our headrest is removed, we'll come around to the back side here. Starting at the top, you'll notice right here is where we can see our first clip. And what they do, try to get my hand in a way that it's not in a way to demonstrate it. This plastic pulls out off of the plastic part of your seat. So you basically just pull it forward. I'm going to try the other side first, better angle. Pull it forward. And unclips. See that hook style clip? Hooks into the edge of the car seat here. Same goes for the other side. Luckily for this seat, all the way around as you feel to the perimeter, they all have that same style hook. Coming down, and even has little pull tabs that you can just pull down on and it releases. Following along, another one, pull and release. Keep going around, pull and release. Pull and release, pull and release. Come back around to the front. Everything should be fairly loose. Should be able to get it off. If your styrofoam comes loose, make sure that stays in place properly. Hook it over here. Again, making sure the styrofoam stays in place. Just unfold it off the edges of the seat. This should come down and around. Also from the back here, this should just come down and around to the front. And one of the beauties of this car seat is getting it out of the seat belt here. See this flap that we folded down earlier to get out of the way of the headrest? Well, now if you follow it down to the bottom, this is actually Velcroed in. just peels off on both sides. And it literally just peels out. Allowing you to pull the seatbelt pieces through. Freeing your seat cover from the car seat. And now, once again, reassembling the car seat. First thing we're going to do is kind of lay it in place. Push the tab back through. Not the tab, the seat tightener, the belt tightener. Also put the seatbelt buckle back through. And this Velcroed piece we had earlier. Just simply going to pull our seatbelt pieces back through. And fold this back down over. Velcro it back into place. Make sure the fabric is folded into the appropriate places for your seatbelt to come through. Tuck it all in nice and neat. Once you have that part done, kind of gently slide everything over in place. I like to start with the cup holders. And as easy as those plastic pull tabs came off, just find the little spots where they hooked in. Just hook them all back on. Just go around until you got them all. Slipping the cover on in place as you go. Take your cup holders now, place them back on where they belonged. Try to get them in as good a position as possible. Make sure the fabric tucks in underneath. Put your screwdriver back, dip it on its side, lift that fabric again. Put that screw where it was. Reattach your cup holder. Don't over tighten it because it is just plastic. Like we saw earlier in the video, the headrest does have a couple little tricky areas, like this little bullhorn here and some of the connecting pieces at the back. But try to slip it on in the easiest manner possible. It's a little tricky to see right here, but again, that little cloth spot with the buttonhole, it's going to hook back onto a plastic clip behind the backrest. Or sorry, behind the headrest. Again, we can slide this down, get onto our plastic. When you're hooking that plastic piece back on, you may have to pull this flap forward a little bit just to hook it on in behind. But once you're done, you can tuck it back in, fold it back. Again, I'll demonstrate that front part again. So I've got a hold of my elastic band with the plastic clip on it. Come back behind and behind the gap where I see it. Pull this forward. Keep it underneath. And slip it onto that back plastic part of the headrest. Once it's all there, hold it back in place. The car seat is complete and ready to be put back in your car. Evenflo Evolve. And for one final time, we are going to start with the headrest again. If you untuck the fabric a little bit, you can see the first clip is back here, just like the previous car seat. It's one of those plastic clips that unfolds. Do the same for the opposite side. Very, very common theme with these car seats. Whatever you seem to see on one side seems to always be on the other side. Coming around the perimeter, following up to the top. Another clip on the back of the headrest. Spin it back around. Headrest. Just unfold, slide right off. For the comment section is flooded with people talking about how I'm using a broken car seat. No, I am no longer using this car seat. Yes, it is broken. I am simply holding it all in place where it needs to be for informational purposes to make this video for you guys who are having trouble removing the fabrics from your car seats. Next thing we're going to do is spin it around to the back. The Velcro piece here that comes apart. And it even goes further down to a second piece. Again, follow along the perimeter of the fabrics, pulling clips wherever you can. And all that remains is the bottom section. A couple of spots here that it's attached to, a couple spots here, and in the front. What I'm going to show you is a different style clip than we've seen from the other car seats. You got to really get your thumb in underneath where it's attached and pop it out. You'll see there's two like pinch style plastic pieces that once you push it back into the hole, it locks into place. So you just have to keep in mind when you're pulling it apart, you really got to pop that button out a little bit of force. Going to the other side, same idea. Coming to the back, same thing. It fits in those holes down here. Going to the other side. Once you get your grip, pop them both. That should be enough to free the car seat. Push this seatbelt piece through the hole. Slides right off. And once again, another assembly of another car seat. Pop all these little clips back on. Making your actual seat cover itself. Push that back in place along its form. Tucking them in and around the headrest where necessary. Once you get it tucked up into place around the back, I recommend starting with the Velcro to help hold it in at the top. That way you can work down along the car seat on both sides, hooking those plastic clips back into place. Same deal with the car seat. Try to align these folds over the styrofoam areas of your headrest. Once it wraps around to the top, hook the plastic clips into those little gaps on the top of the headrest. Coming back around to the front, we had these two little clips here and here. They actually wrap underneath this red piece and hook to the back. Car seat, once again, complete. And last but not least, the Evenflo booster seat. Do a little close up here for you. These booster seats are actually pretty easy once you get going. It's just another one of those plastic clips holding another elastic piece in place. Simply unhook those on each side at the back. And for the most part, it pretty much folds almost all the way off. But this is where there's a new type of button. So let me get close here for you. So there's 3 buttons in the front here. What you have to do is slide it down to unlock it, and it pops out of a little hole. I'll show you that now. So you pull down on the fabric, hear that pop, 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 and that releases it. So what happens is, you see here, there's these little buttons with these little tiny grooves on it. These grooves go into this hole and push upwards. So when you put it back on, you line that up with the hole and slide up until you hear the pop. Much like when you released it. If you don't pop it into place, your cover will be flimsy like this all the time. It won't actually stay in place very well. So make sure it's actually pop locked in. And then on the back side, coming back around, simply take these elastics, slide them back over, and your booster seat is ready to go again. For those of you who are still tuned in at this point, thank you very much for tagging along. I was filming this video with one hand and taking the child seats apart with the other. So I was literally doing it one-handed in some instances, which is the reason for some of the shaky footage. Some of it got a little unclear in places, but for the most part, I hope I got you a little bit more knowledgeable in how to take apart your car seat with all those buttons, clasps, clips, elastic bands, whatever it might have been on there. I hope it helps. That concludes today's episode on Nothing to It. I hope this has helped you save some frustrations in how to remove these fabrics from your child's car seats. And if you enjoy seeing content like this, please like, subscribe, and always remember, there's nothing to it.